A stellar cast of Nigel Adderley and Stuart Pearce on commentary duty for you tonight as we are treated to a replay of the 2012 Euros final. Let's get more on this huge semi-final clash between two European giants. We have a European football expert, Andy Brassel. Good morning, Andy.
Morning, Andy.
Morning all. I would like to think Alvaro Morata's up already and was shirt off in front of the mirror miming along to that.
I think he was. Do you think that's the kind of music he gets up for it with?
Actually, I can see that happening, Andy. I don't think that's as far away from the truth as you think, you know.
Yeah, I'm not even smiling here.
We've actually been corrected already because apparently it was Anna Kournikova, not Maria Sharapova.
Did you say we'd been corrected?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was you that made the statement, so...
Did I?
Yeah.
I thought you said it, didn't you? Did I say it? Who knows? Who knows what comes out of either of our mouths? Anyway, know. Anna Kournikova, forget about it. It doesn't matter. That's not why we have you on, Andy, unless you've got expertise in that area of the world. No? No, that's a no. Okay, let's talk about this final tonight then, or semi-final I should say. Italy taking on Spain. We've been talking about it all morning really, about how these guys line up, and Ali was saying actually he has Italy edging it just about. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's probably the logical conclusion based on the way that they've played so far in this tournament. Italy have played by far the best football in this tournament, and they've shown different ways to win. Having said that, Spain have shown so many different faces. It's like the mask. It's incredible because they have been... They're a team we associate traditionally with control. If we go back to, especially not even Euro 2008, but World Cup 2010, Euro 2012, as you were talking about before, Laura, it's all about Spain keeping the ball and having it in hand. Now, they can still keep the ball, but they have been absolutely chaotic in this tournament. If you look at like 1 goal in the first 2 games, 10 goals in the next 2. Yeah. I don't even know what that performance against Switzerland in the quarterfinals was, but they somehow got it done. And they've had so many like strange moments, mistakes, setbacks, and they've come through it all. So in that sense, they're quite difficult to write off, even though they're very different to a lot of the great Spain sides we've known in recent years.
Got to say, Andy, I think you're right. They really have been unpredictable, Spain, but the one thing, the one constant for me that they look... is Busquets in the middle of the park. He's become so important to them. And I mentioned earlier, one of the young lad, Pedri, he looks like a really exciting talent as well.
Yeah, Pedri's been amazing. I saw him spoke about on Spanish television the other day as a player who's so good that Messi will pass to him. And I think that's a good way of describing it, actually.
I like that.
Whereas with Busquets, it's like they're on an adventure and finally the adults turned up late with a map because he's someone who can purpose them on the pitch, really. I think both the position he is and the experience he's got, because there's not an enormous amount of experience in this team. I mean, of course, we talked a lot pre-tournament about Sergio Ramos not making it. The interesting thing about Sergio Ramos, as well as his incredible experience and leadership, is the fact that if he'd have been in the squad, he'd have scored more Spain goals than anyone else in the squad by really quite a long way, which is something.
Tell us a little bit about Laporte, because we've been keeping an eye on him since he switched allegiances. Seems like the right thing to do now, doesn't it? Seeming like they're going to go all the way, or at least to the semi-finals. How crucial has he been to Spain?
He's been big, especially as they haven't been able to decide between Pau Torres and Eric Garcia, who's just left Manchester City between them. I mean, I do wonder if they want to have a little bit more control in this, if they will play Eric Garcia, because Pau Torres is the better pure defender, but Eric Garcia is better on the ball, and Luis Enrique has spoken quite openly about that. I mean, we talked about how things are kind of bubbling around the Spanish camp, and it was a little tense on the way in because of the corona situation. I mean, remember they had this whole parallel squad training with them because Busquets was out for a little bit with corona and they wondered if it had spread. So they had 18 players in a separate camp training in case other players dropped out. And Laporte has been that sort of stability, even though he's new. Because I think if we go back a few years, a lot of people expected him to play for Spain anyway, instead of France, before France came into the mix, because of course he's never played club football there. But it was interesting, the first press conference that Laporte did at the training camp, one of the journalists put his hand up and said, "Do you really think you're Spanish enough to play for this team?" And he was like, "Whoa, that's a bit much, isn't it? Come on, can we dial it down a couple?" And he's had to put up with that from the beginning. So I feel like he's been on his toes from the very start. The rest of the squad, a lot of them have played with him. Of course, he played with Unai Simon at Athletic, the goalkeeper, so they know each other pretty well. So from that perspective, he's adapted pretty well. And I feel he's been ready for international football for a long time.
Andy, tell me a little bit about the Italians. I mean, I think they're a fascinating watch. I really do. And Mancini, I think, deserves enormous credit because they've almost got the wonderful blend of having the strong defensive Italian qualities with Chiellini, Bonucci, and obviously the goalie Donnarumma. But at the same time, he's got them playing with a little bit of openness and real flair as well, with the lads, attacking from midfield and obviously the forwards.
I think that's it, Ali. It's all about Mancini, and he makes it fun, and he has made it fun since coming in.
Yeah.
I bear in mind he joined off the back of them not qualifying for the World Cup in 2018, which was a national disgrace for them from a football perspective. And there was a rebuild at all levels of the FA. Now, Mancini is not one of those coaches who can't get another job or is filling in between jobs. He took this job because he desperately wanted it. And when he left Zenit St. Petersburg to take the job, he left a lot of money on the table because he desperately wanted it. He would have walked from St. Petersburg to Rome to take this role. And he's really embraced it from the start. He's got so many players involved. His first squad that he picked like 40 players just because he wanted to get to know all of them. He's not doing this off the telly or by committee. He's someone who's really got his hands dirty. And he's made it enjoyable to play for Italy again. He's wanted to make it a positive experience and make the most of some of those players. And the relationship between him and those players, and not just him and those players, but him and Vialli has been really special. I think having Vialli on the committee has been great because Vialli, they've known each other since they were at Sampdoria ages ago. And for them, it's a moment where they can kind of change history because, of course, they were in the same team that lost the 92 European Cup final to Barcelona together for Sampdoria, and they endured that really difficult moment. So for them to go back to Wembley and put it right would be something special.
Yeah. Andy, thanks for coming on. Enjoy
Look
the semi-final tonight.